Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel, and welcome to South Mountain Creamery. I do want to say something. This is technically episode number 2. Episode number 1 was a live stream that I did on Friday evening, Friday the 21st of September. And if you were in attendance of that live stream, I wanted to thank you for essentially stopping by and everything. We had a lot of fun. It was about a 90-minute live stream, and quite a few folks came out, and I really appreciate that. And of course, I have been building this particular series up, the South Mountain Creamery series, to be a live stream event. I was planning on basically live streaming all of the work, all of the progress, more or less all the episodes was going to basically be in live stream format. And after the live stream was concluded last night, I basically went to YouTube expecting there to be an archive video. Maybe it wouldn't be ready at that particular moment to publish, but there would be an archive. YouTube would be doing the behind the scenes work to get that video ready to go, and it wasn't there. And so I thought, okay, well, no big deal. It's late in the evening. I will see what's going on Saturday morning. And needless to say, it still wasn't there. It basically seems to be AWOL. I have no idea where it is. I've double checked my settings. I've triple checked my settings. Basically everything was set the way that it has always been set as far as my YouTube channel is concerned. You may all know that I have done a number of live streams, both from FS17, ATS, ETS2, Flight Sim. I've done quite a few live stream events, like I said, and I've never had a problem with the videos archiving. But we know that there are a whole host of different problems that YouTube is currently experiencing. We've been seeing some challenges in getting our videos to auto post to Discord and some other things like that. And so I'm kind of thinking that maybe these things are sort of related to each other. And unfortunately, I realize that not everyone can catch my live streams. I also realize that my reluctance to set a schedule is also maybe not practical for a lot of folks as far as those who want to watch my live streams. I would mostly be live streaming in the evenings or maybe on the mornings of the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, that sort of thing. And so, I have always tried to make my videos and everything else that I do available to each and every person that wants to watch them. And so if the archive functionality is not going to work, now I'm not saying that it's going to be broken forever. I'm sure that YouTube is going to work through and sort through some of these API issues that they're having, which is kind of what's affecting the Discord stuff. But maybe there's something else that's going on with the archive stuff. Maybe it's something with my account, so I will pursue it later down the road. I don't know when that will be, but I will look into that and see if that's something that can be resolved. But for now, I really enjoy this map, and I really want to get started playing on it. And I basically want to make everything available to anyone that wants to watch it. So sort of I guess what I'm doing is I'm shifting gears here, backing up the truck or the tractor, so to speak, just a little bit, shifting gears and changing my plan. And the plan for right now is that I'm going to produce video episodes of the Let's Play series here on South Mountain Creamery. So it'll be in my traditional format. The videos will be, anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes in length, most likely. We'll just kind of make progress as we go along in this wonderful, wonderful map. So if you missed the live stream yesterday, what should have been episode number 1, then I will just kind of fill you in on what we did. Essentially, as you can tell, we mowed field number 31, which is one of our 2 grass fields. We mowed that, and we tedded that to turn that into hay. So we're still in the same game day that the live stream basically took place in. Obviously, we cannot necessarily simulate multiple day similar multiple day scenario for our hay making process, because obviously the seasons mod will take some of that hay away from us, just sort of as the nature of how that functions. That's one thing I disagree with, but you know, there's no set in stone philosophy that we have to say that just because it says it's the 6th game day of spring, the last game day of spring, that we're basically in the same game day that we were in. So we can sort of do some make believe and figure out that maybe this is, you know, a couple of days down the road we've had some nice hot sunshine, and that has helped dry out the grass and obviously turn that into hay. So while we're speaking of hay, we basically need hay for our cows. We needed that pretty bad, so I'm going to go ahead and drop this load, or at least as much of this load that will go here at the cows, and I think I'll go on up here and probably just put the rest of this in with the TMR here while we're sort of in the neighborhood, in the area. Now, of course, if you were not on the live stream last night, and by the way, I don't know if anyone else has noticed a bit of an issue with this particular mixing station, but it's kind of difficult to hit the spot there, the unload trigger, on the first time. You kind of have to back up to it. So if you do have that and you're wondering what that is, I don't know why the issue exists, but I do know that sort of the workaround is to back up, and you'll eventually hit the trigger and you can dump your content there. But anyway, if you were on the live stream, then I kind of, you know, obviously gave you some idea, some information as to how we're going to play this, what we're going to do, all that good kind of stuff. If you were not, then, and basically if you're just starting this episode, and if this is the only episode that you have watched of the Grizzly Bear Sims South Mountain Creamery series, then I would basically encourage you to maybe stop this particular video, or at least finish it, and then go and watch episode 0, which I had recorded on Thursday, I believe it was, and that was sort of setting the stage for how things were going to play out with this particular series. And so you can go and watch that. And of course, for right now, just ignore everything that I talk about and say as far as the fact that, you know, it's going to be live streamed and all that, because obviously, as I said, I am going to basically shift gears just a little bit, and we're going to essentially do this in recorded format, which is more or less what everyone is kind of accustomed to seeing anyway from my channel. And you know, you can watch it at any time that you desire to watch it. And I don't know, maybe that really and truthfully is better for the majority of my viewers anyway. I don't know. You can certainly let me know, leave me a note in the chat if you, for whatever reason, if you think you might know what the problem is, or if you do, if you are a YouTube content creator and you yourself have seen these problems, if you know if there's a fix or something. I mean, I can't imagine there being anything that I could do other than verifying that my settings are set correctly, and I have those set to automatically archive the video after the recording is completed, and that's more or less the same settings and how I've been doing it in the past. And you know, I'm not a huge live streamer, so I haven't put a whole lot of live streams out into the YouTube space, but I will tell you that this is the very first time that I've ever had a video kind of go missing in this fashion. So again, if you haven't watched episode 0, go and do that. I do sort of let you know, fill you in on the fact that we have our hired workers of Billy Bob and Jack, and Mickey is a new character that I'm bringing into this series, as well as our female character Matilda is also coming in for some action here on South Mountain Creamery. And so I introduced you all to those characters in that episode 0, as well as in the live stream last night. So we're just going to do some circles here Eventually, our rake operator, which that is looks like that might be Matilda there. She's going to start doing her up and downs. I've got her set for three headlands around, just to make sure that she has plenty of room. That way she doesn't get tangled up in these trees. And then she should start doing her up and downs, her straight rows here momentarily. And we'll probably do maybe another load of grass or so, and then we'll probably go and do something a little bit different. Now, we will be doing a variety of different tasks as we sort of go through this series. It's not going to all be about farming. We are going to do just a little bit of forestry. I sort of explained that in episode 0 as well as in the live stream last night, that forestry is not a huge thing for me. It doesn't really get me excited about Farm Sim 17, and I'm certainly sort of neutral on the whole aspect of it as far as Farm Sim 19 goes. And we actually talked about that last night in the live stream, and unfortunately you're not going to be able to hear what I said, but kind of with regards to that, I really don't see the point in Giants coming out with that new line of forestry equipment, other than the fact that we know that they've paid to be in the game, and of course that helps all of us out as consumers of the Giants Farm Sim genre, just simply because A, it possibly helps keep the prices lower, and B, it gives Giants a little bit more money and everything to profit from, and to continue to prove that there's interest in this game, and hopefully they will continue to develop it. So we are doing everything in loose and in bulk. We're doing bulk storage for everything. We've got these silos which were part of the map. I think my frame rate's dropped just a little bit here in this area. My apologies for that if that's affecting the video quality. But we do have those capabilities, so we're not going to be doing any baling, at least for this year. Now, of course, if you didn't watch episode 0, and if you didn't catch my live stream last night, you might be wondering about the time that we're starting. We are starting in the very last game day of spring, so this technically is the second amount of work that we've done in this particular game day, and we might have like maybe one more episode in this game day. It just kind of depends on how long it takes us to get this grass or get this hay off this field back here. And so all of our fields are planted. Everything is planted in the ground, and we're going to be doing, as I run over these windrows here, we're going to be doing corn maize for the purposes of silage, and we're going to be doing wheat for mainly straw, because we are running a dairy farm here. That's what our claim to fame is here for South Mountain Creamery. That's how it is done in the real world, and that's what they do, and so that is kind of what we're following suit with. And we're doing pretty good. We've got some greenhouse operations. I think we'll probably go visit that again here in just a few moments. We kind of started the live stream doing a bit of greenhouse work, or at least we went up to the greenhouse and picked up some of the fruit and veg that had been grown in the greenhouses, because we're selling that at our fruit stand that's right outside the dairy there. It's kind of it's the whole operation for South Mountain Creamery, and again, this is a real world map, or a map that's based on a real world dairy, and there's a link in the show notes that you can take that link and take you to the real South Mountain Creamery operation and check out what they do and how they do it. We do have 200 head of dairy cattle. Now, in the real world, South Mountain Creamery raises cows for dairy purposes and also for beef purposes. Obviously, we can't necessarily replicate that within the game, so we're not going to worry about it. We don't have pigs and we don't have sheep, even though those are on the map. Now, just another point of clarification, and again, I kind of laid all this out in episode 0, and we talked about it again in the live stream last night, but just for the sake, if you're basically just catching this video and this is the first one that you've seen, this is an edited version of the South Mountain Creamery map. It was edited by my dear friend Eustace Farmer. I'm sure if you have been watching my channel for any length of time, you do know who Eustace Farmer is. If you do not know who Eustace Farmer is, and if you are not a subscriber of his channel, I do encourage you, because you're missing out. You need to go down below the video screen and check out the link to his YouTube channel page. Click that link, follow it over to his channel, and take advantage of all of the wonderful videos and creations and everything that he puts out. It's very top-notch quality content, and you won't go wrong in watching that. Lots of good storylines. He's quite a character, and he puts out some really good content. And of course, I would be remiss if I also didn't encourage you to also go check out my other good friend, Doug Zorley Gaming. Doug Zorley is Australian, from Australia, so he does YouTube Let's Plays and some live streams and plays a variety of games, not just Farm Sim, so go over and check out his channel as well. So back to, let's see, what I was talking about something and kind of got sidetracked, I think, with the forestry. Yeah, so we are going to do some forestry. The forestry will be doing it because we do have some industry that we're going to run just a little bit, not near as much as what maybe I was attempting to do on Green River, the Green River map, but we are going to be doing some forestry work just to supplement the sawmill for the beehive facility that we have. We're going to get into the honey business because that kind of matches up with what South Mountain Creamery is doing, and so we'll be cutting a few trees down, not too many. That may just kind of be like maybe one episode, or maybe 15 to 20 minutes or so in a couple of episodes, but we're not going to go heavy on it, just simply because it's not really anything that I'm all that excited about doing any more than what I just sort of explained. Like I said, about probably about 15 to 20 minutes or so worth, maybe, and again, like say, maybe 1 or 2 episodes to do that. So I really don't know what sort of capacity we have with regards to these silos, so we are going to have to keep our fingers crossed. Right now it looks like we've got 192,000, almost 200,000 liters of hay that we're putting up. I haven't really run the numbers to see how many liters of hay that we expect to need to have to basically carry us through essentially summer, winter, and early spring until the grass grows again. If we play this through to the second year, I am sort of declaring this to be a farewell to Farm Sim 17, simply because when I was going to live stream this, and I'm assuming that kind of the timing metrics and everything are going to kind of work out the same as well, even regardless of whether I live stream it or make videos out of it, is that we're probably going to, this may be the very last map that we actually do with Farm Sim 17, and especially with the Seasons mod. So here we go. We're coming up on our thing here, so we'll go ahead and fill this one up, and possibly consider going and heading up to the greenhouse and pick up the fruit and veg, and possibly then head over to the sawmill and pick up a couple of pallets of boards that may or may not be ready. I know I've got 2 in storage, and the sawmill is running at the present moment. I don't know how much timber we have left, but we'll go pick up those pallets if we have some, and take those up to the greenhouse. Those are going to go into the honey factory that has yet to be built, so you'll get to kind of see how that's going on. I do hope everyone is having a wonderful, wonderful day. I do not know at this particular point in time still how many episodes and of what that you're going to end up seeing. One of the things that we sort of talked about last night in the live stream was that, you know, live stream is really just the requirement of me making the time out of my schedule to come downstairs, fire up the gaming machine, boot up FS17, launch my streaming software, and basically go online and stream. There's not a whole lot of work that has to be done after the fact. There's not any sort of post-production. You're currently just waiting for YouTube to do its thing and to get the video and everything going, and you know, there you go. So having said that, now that it's kind of apparent that I'm going to need to record these episodes, there will be obviously the editing, the rendering, the uploading of YouTube. That stuff does take time. I've got a pretty good workflow, and as far as my process is concerned, I know a lot of other folks probably take a lot more time. Maybe they have to. I try to get everything done kind of as I'm playing. I try not to have a lot of things that I need to go back and edit or take out, if at all possible. So there may be, you know, 2 or 3 episodes a week of this coming out. I will have to look and see how things look as far as my schedule and my timing. And you know, the last thing I want to do is I don't want to burn myself out on one specific game. I enjoy a variety of simulation-based games, including flight sim, truck sim, obviously farm sim, and of course we're all anxiously awaiting Farm Sim 19 to come out. But I want to make sure that I make time to do other things, and not just game as well. I've got a variety of hobbies that I enjoy, and so we'll just kind of have to see. I'm not going to say that at this particular point in time I'm not sure what's going to happen to Shamrock. Shamrock Valley, I'm playing that without the Seasons mod. I sort of made the decision to do that simply because well, I was wanting to kind of get back into making videos after my long summer hiatus, and I sort of figured, okay, it would be relatively easy to kind of come back in to the fold and everything and just play Farm Sim 17 sort of default, in other words, without Seasons mod, so that we can kind of go through some of the farming functions relatively quick and not have to, you know, spend a whole lot of time waiting for crops to grow and snow to melt and all those kind of things. But I actually, truth be told, as I started getting into that gameplay, and I think we've got 4 videos of Shamrock out on YouTube right now, I sort of started to question, what am I supposed to do next? Where, you know, and of course it's been so long since I have played sort of default farm sim without Seasons that it's been like probably a year and a half or so. I think I've been playing the Seasons mod since about January or February of 2000. What would that be? 2016? No, 2017, I guess. So I don't know. We'll have to just see how it goes. So we're going to go ahead and dump this in here. These triggers are even the triggers on the like these silos here, which were part of the map. These were not things I added. They do seem tight. So I'm not sure how this is, if this map is going to be extremely courseplay friendly. I'm kind of hoping that it will be, because obviously we're going to need to do some things with courseplay, possibly when it comes to harvesting the chaff for silage. But obviously we're not going to be dumping chaff into that silo. We're going to be using our other silos. So we're about 24 minutes into this video, and most likely it's going to be a little bit longer than 30 minutes as we kind of get some of our other tasks done that we wanted to do in this video, You know, I try to do multiple things per video just to kind of give you all something to see and do and everything that's not necessarily specifically related to whatever the major task happens to be that we're doing. Looks like Matilda is finished with the raking, so that's a good thing. We'll get back over there and most likely off camera we'll finish raking up or collecting the hay and getting that put into storage. Because if we look at our weather forecast, if I just bring up the season's weather forecast here, so we're essentially game day 6. We're the last game day of spring, so we've got our weather, whatever our weather happens to be today, 57 degrees ambient temperature. Tomorrow looks like a good day as well. It's 79. Most likely we are going to be cutting the other grass field tomorrow, because obviously we won't have crops to harvest or anything. I'm assuming that the wheat, well, I don't know if the wheat will, if we'll get to the wheat first, or if the chaff will, if the corn will be ready to harvest, because obviously we'll most likely cut the corn on the last growth stage while it's still green, and cut that and turn that into chaff. So it's possible that we'll actually be cutting corn silage before we actually harvest wheat, but we'll just have to kind of see how that all pans out once we get a little bit closer to that time frame. But you know, for right now we've got our small industries and stuff here that we can do. We've got the little bit of forestry that we'll do, and obviously some grass work and such as that. So we'll head over here. We're going to get into the truck, our little bobtail truck that we have set up here, and we've got our fruit and veg already collected. Jack came up here and loaded this up for us and parked this here under the little barn here. And this proved to be a pretty good earner for us. We've got 2, 4, 6. We've got 6 greenhouses. Now, if you're used to playing the greenhouses that Stevie provides, and I think those were the ones that I had on Thornton Farm, then you know that those automatically sell. These do not auto sell, so you do need to come up, and obviously you need to tend to them. You need to put manure in, you need to put water in, but you also have to come up and collect the fruit and veg. And I'm thinking, although I'm not 100% sure, but I'm kind of thinking that we're going to probably get 3 pallets a day if we're on top of our game. We're going to get 3 pallets a day out of this. And I think, and we'll find out here again in just a moment, but I think in the live stream when we sold these yesterday in that live stream, I'm pretty sure that it was about maybe about $24,000 that we earned off of this. So this is going to help us continue to make a little bit of money. Obviously we've got 200 head of cows that are getting milked, and of course we're selling ice cream and yogurt and milk and everything through the dairy operations here. And of course we do home delivery and that sort of stuff. Of course that's not something that we're going to have to do for the purpose of the videos, but it just is the stuff that happens magically at midnight every night when the milk gets sold, and we see how much we've made and all that good stuff. So I have to be careful there with people crossing the street, because they do like to cross the street right in front of you there. So we'll go ahead and uncover this and see about this there we go, and then we'll unload them, and it'll tell us in just a minute. We'll get rid of the forecast because we don't need to see that. It'll tell us how much we've made. So again, I'm hoping it's right around $25,000, unless I happen to have misread it. I was, watching chat last night during the live stream, and it's possible that I may have misread that number. But we'll just kind of see where that goes. And like I said, we are going to head on up to the sawmill, kind of watching where I'm going as I'm waiting for that tally to show up. And I think I made a wrong turn there in Albuquerque, so let me back up. I did this last night in the live stream as well. Still learning the map. It does take a little bit of time, and that's okay. It's all part of the learning and fun process of learning where you are on the map and how you get from point A to point B in the quickest fashion. 21,785. So certainly nothing to sneeze at. That's possible, you know, a variable in the fact, just, you know, seasons lowering that price or raising that price since we sold some earlier today. But the way I figure it is we will just go ahead and sell it as we can. So if we can basically sell it, if we can sell it 3 times a day, that will be fine, because obviously we need to empty it. We need to go up and we basically need to empty or basically move the fruit and veg off of the pallet or away from the greenhouse, because if we don't do that, then what's going to happen is it's going to stop producing, and so you don't want that to happen, right? So we want it to continue to produce and make stuff for us. And of course, we're using these pallets of lumber for our wood operation right there. That's where Mickey works. Mickey works back there, and he handles the creation of the beehives. And so there's our 2 pallets of wood. Let's see if we can get, let's see if there's another pallet that's ready back here at the back of the sawmill. This, of course, is Marhu's sawmill. Excellent. So that's not a full pallet, or maybe it is. Let's see, is that a full pallet? I don't think that's a full pallet yet. So let's just go ahead and take these 2 down, because we're knocking on 30 minutes here. It's about 32 minutes, and you know me, folks, I like to let you go as soon as possible. So we're just going to leave this here for now, and we'll shut that off, and we'll jump out and we'll head on back down. That's interesting how that wood loaded there. So we're going to have wood in our face. Let's what a big disgrace. Let's do this. Let's unload it. Wow, that's interesting. Okay, well, I don't know what's going on there. I guess it's somehow glitching on us, but we'll just make the best of it, and we're going to head this on down to back to the greenhouses where we just were just a few moments ago, because these are going to go into the creation of the honey factory. And that's pretty cool. I've actually never used it before, and I would jump in cab, but I can't really see anything because the lumber is in the way, so I'm thinking I'm better off just kind of driving in third person. But I've never used the honey factory before, and I think we have to take, obviously we have to take the lumber and everything there to build it, and then I believe we have to take some milk, and we have to take honey, obviously, and then it produces something or another that we'll most likely sell. And that's kind of fitting within what we're kind of doing here. One of the things that the South Mountain Creamery does do is they have kind of farmers market, and of course, as you can kind of tell, it's a little bit of a rural area around here. I think I forget, if you go to their website, it'll tell you all about their business, and it will tell you how many customers they're supporting and everything. It's quite an interesting operation that they have, and of course I've talked about the importance of buying local when you can, and I do believe in that. My wife and I try to buy local as much as we possibly can. Of course, it's becoming harder and harder to do that, because so many mom and pop shops that used to be in, that was the only thing that existed back when I was a young person. Mom and pop type shops, and of course now the big retail giants like Walmart and Costco and Sam's Club, and of course then you've got the internet empires of like Amazon and such, and so it is what it is. Okay, so we'll turn that off. We'll reposition it over here. I think we just basically drop it here on this red pad, and there we go. And we'll go ahead and move this, put this back under the barn, and then head back down to the main farm, and we're going to call this episode good. All right. Get our Toyota Land Cruiser. Again, I mentioned this in the live stream. I'll probably end up calling this thing a Jeep quite a bit. And all right, so looks like our timber, we've got 50% of our timber need up here. We'll need to bring up 2 more pallets to finish that out, and we'll do that in the next coming days. But we'll do that together, and you guys can kind of see how that works. But I'm sure some of you have already experimented with the honey factory, and that's cool. So we've got more fruit and veg already. Looks like it's ready to go. So we'll make sure that we get up here and get that collected before we call this game day good. And I'd just like to take the opportunity to thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for watching my episodes. Thank you for being friends of the Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel. And as I had already mentioned, please go over and check out my dear friends Eustace Farmer and Duxorley Gaming. Their entertainment is fantastic. Now, I will tell you that Eustace Farmer is on just a little bit of a break from recording. He is in the process of moving from the East Coast out to towards the West Coast area. He's going out to Nevada, moving with his family. And so there'll be a little bit of a break. I think he mentioned to me that sometime in very early October, so sometime around the first part of October, he should be sort of back into production again. And of course, no pressure on him to get going. Take the time that you need, get settled. All that kind of stuff comes first. Everything that is part of our hobbies and everything all can come at a later stage down the road. But I'm sure that, well, as a matter of fact, today is Saturday the 22nd of September. He packed his gaming machine and everything up last night, I believe it was, and his brother-in-law is taking that out to Nevada in his car. And Eustace had already sort of attempted to turn the door handle to go down to his office recording studio and everything a couple of times before he realized that, well, there's nothing down there. There's no gaming machine. So anyway, folks, thank you so much for watching. I do apologize for all the kind of the mix-up in how we're doing things. But you know, I really want these episodes to be available to everybody that wants to watch them, and until I can figure out what's going on with YouTube, I'm just going to do these as recorded videos, and that way anybody and everybody can watch them. And so without further ado, I'm going to say goodbye for now, and I will speak to you all at the next episode here on South Mountain Creamery. Take care of yourself and also of each other. God bless you all. Bye-bye for now.